Okay, well, welcome to the November 9th Dauphin City Council meeting. I have all the resolutions here for councilors. And if it's okay with everybody, I'll assign the mover and seconder to the resolutions. Is that okay? Hearing none, I'll assume it's okay. So we acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land known as First Nations territory, homeland of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and Métis Nation. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular agenda as presented. All in favor? Hearing no objections, motion passed. Moved by Councillor Juba, and I had Bellemare in here and she's not there, so I'll move it to Deputy Mayor Riel. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated minutes of the following regular council meeting of October 26th. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion passed. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel and seconded by Councillor Loughlin. We have the information of our Animal Control Officer, Todd Tarrant. Todd, can you start your report?
Hear me, Your Worship?
Yep, go ahead.
Good evening, Your Worship, fellow councillors, those watching. I'm Todd Tarrant, and I'm the Animal Control Officer for the City of Dauphin. I hope everyone is doing well, and thank you for having me here today. There's been a lot of changes this year and a lot of restrictions. This too was felt during the release of the new Animal Control Bylaw 05-2020 in April 1st of this year. All current investigations at the time and active past investigations at that time were given Bylaw Package 05-2020 handout. Excuse me. As the rules had changed, answers for them at the time of the active complaint was found to be helpful. I do apologize. I forgot to turn pages. This quick communication led to the acceptance, which helped awareness greatly in the community. At the time of the 05-2020 seems to be exactly what we needed. The most current challenges in animal health, safety, and enforcement have been met at this time. This has also led to direct ticketing, but the proof of direct ticketing is in compliance. Now, Bylaw 05-2020 has issued very few non-compliance tickets. We have issued some at this point of the year. The ones we have issued have led to a very quick resolution. The fact that we are not having to direct ticket people and they're following the rules of the bylaw is a good thing for enforcement wise. Our focus at this point of the year and the following time of this year will be barking. It'll be all weather shelters, leashes, vaccinations and licensing, as well as animal quantities. And I do have to remind everyone that's listening that all of the previous mentioned points are direct ticketing offenses under the new Animal Control Bylaw 05-2020. Now, Animal Control just has to stop for a second and say, way to go to people in town. People in Dauphin, I want to thank the hundreds of people, not just one, our bylaw affected 10, hundreds of people during this very challenging year found the residents of Dauphin responding to the new bylaw, taking time to properly license domestic pets, both dogs and cats. Now, I talk about this for a secondary point. What I'm about to tell you now has nothing to do with COVID challenges in the year 2020. The City of Dauphin has the ERDCP. It stands for the Emergency Response to Disease Control Protocol. This pet protection protocol was put in place shortly after I was hired by the city in the mid 2017. The ERDCP is put in place in case a doctor of veterinary medicine declares an animal disease awareness, which has happened this year. Earlier this year, Animal Control was made aware of a vaccine that should be checked on or updated in all cats as soon as possible, and that vaccine is distemper. I asked, even though we're only in a state of alert, I ask anyone with a cat that's hearing my voice in public to please check with your veterinarian to make sure your cat has the distemper vaccination. If your cat does not have a distemper vaccination, please have your cat get a distemper vaccination as soon as you can. Earlier this year, we were made aware of this. Now we checked on and updated all our cats as soon as possible. The ERDCP did this by phoning everyone that had a licensed a licensed cat in the 2020 year. Everyone was made aware within 6 hours following the alert from the veterinarian to gain awareness. I'm sorry, but if you do not license your cat or cats, there is no way I'll be able to call you and warn you because I don't know you have a cat. That's very important. We can only do stuff for you if you follow the rules. And like I said, I have to congratulate hundreds of people that came in and made sure their cats were licensed. New cat licenses for 2021 are now available. We do that usually the 1st of November. We make sure we get them out early so that you can buy next year's in case there's an issue. You don't have to buy this year, next year. Money's fairly tight and it might be complicated to do that. Does anyone here have any questions from my address so far? Yes, Councillor Islanders.
I just wanted to know, what is the cost of the license?
The license for non-fixed animals is $30. The license for fixed animals is $20. It's quite economical, the license fee itself.
Okay, and for the dogs?
It's the same, ma'am. $30 for the non-fixed and $20 for the fixed animals. Now, to get the discount on your license, you would bring your vaccination certificate and your medical certificate here, and they would be able to translate off your medical certificates whether your dog is fixed or not, and that's how you would get the cheaper license. And you must have a vaccination certificate that's current at the time of licensing, because you can't license your animal if you don't have a current vaccination certificate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Todd.
Certainly, go ahead.
So how many cats and how many dogs are currently licensed? Do you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't bring those totals to me, but they are at the clerk's desk.
Okay.
I can forward them to you when we...
I just wonder if we're making headway with public education on the validity of ensuring that your dog and cat is licensed. And I'm wondering if you're seeing an increase from last year.
There's definitely an increase in cats. And again, we did talk earlier just amongst ourselves and council here about the potential problems we've had in the city and the challenges. And cats and dogs suffered this year because of the COVID challenge we had with people locked in their homes, and the pets were being looked after, but it still didn't get a chance to be proactive on the pet problems we may or may not have had. So it does look like we are gaining ground because we are getting more cats licensed than we had last year. But the truth, I think, will be this year, 2021, coming up, because we've had so many challenges that everyone can move into next year, and I think that will be the tail of the tape. In our new bylaw as well, there is you will not be penalized for helping to shelter an animal. If there's an animal in your backyard in the snow or hurt or anything like that, if you help shelter the animal and phone me immediately, it doesn't allow you to take a cat and keep it for 3 months and try to find the owner, but it allows you under the bylaw to report to me, let me know that you've given animal shelter for care, and we can come and get that animal for you. And most times those shelter of care will be an emergency issue where we'll do it right away. There is some non-emergent issues that it's sheltered in place. I'm okay with that because the people are reporting. That's what we need. The problem with people not reporting is then I don't know that you know that I don't know that you have a cat, so I can't help you. Like, not myself, but the people as well. They've lost their cat. They didn't think to phone me. They don't have Facebook. and they're, so their animal could sit at somebody's place for 3 months before they realize it's turned into me. Then we take it to the pound, then they find out who the owner is, and the owner goes, well, where's my animal been for the last 3 months? Again, this is all just a made-up scenario, but you understand the importance of not housing an animal and keeping that animal as your own animal if it's not your animal. And that was a challenge before, but I think that's really worked itself out good with being able to report to me directly.
Okay, and have you changed then your public engagement or your strategy for getting the message out that our bylaw has changed and what's different, or what are you doing that's
Yes, there
different?
was a mass, when we started on April 1st, there was a mass push in that first 2 months. I gave copies of the bylaw package. It's a card, a pamphlet, and a bylaw to all the people that I had just investigated that were active but yet passed, all the people I had under investigation, and all the people I investigated from there till about the end of May. So after that, what we're asking the public to do now is, if you have any questions, please go to dauphin.ca if you have a computer and log on, and you can download a copy of the bylaw, or you can view the bylaw on your computer and see if you have any questions arising from that. And please, at any time, anyone can phone me. It's 204-648-3593. That number works 24 hours a day. And if you have questions, as usual, questions are always free. And a lot of times I get stuff shared with me and I share stuff with people, and it's a very good relationship that way. And you have to have that kind of relationship, I think.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Todd,
Yes, sir.
this is Mayor.
Mayor Dohan?
If we could,
Sorry,
the,
I can't
social,
I can look at you this way.
can you hear me?
I can, sir. Go ahead.
With the renewal of the cat and dog licenses, we should post it on social media and also some paper media that the dog and cat licenses are due now. And if administration can hear that, Charla, could you initiate that with Todd and the social media people?
And we can
Thank you.
definitely do that. And just so Mayor and Council knows, we've also sent out reminder letters to people who have already do have pet licenses.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your Worship, we do that every year, sir. The background staff is super at doing that. Every year, November 1st, they're issued a letter asking them to please renew their license and outlaying anything that we need to tell them at that point. And those letters are personally mailed out to people. And usually what happens, Your Worship, is the Dauphin Herald and or CKDM will usually contact me in the next couple of days after a meeting. And they'll ask me some questions, and they usually get to the bottom of any questions they have.
Okay. Bill had the numbers for the cats and dogs license. Bill, could you share that?
So I just looked in the licensing database, and sorry, my bad. 203 licenses in total were issued in 2020, 4 of them for cats, so 199 for dogs.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Bill. Go ahead, Todd.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Any further questions? If anybody wants any information or would like to know how to get a copy of the bylaw, please call me at 204-648-3593. And just to touch base with Councillor Reel, there was an issue for months and months ago about dogs that weren't on leashes in parks and bothering people. So what we've done, we've had a few people complain that there had been dogs off leashes since we've passed our bylaw. So we have rotating inspections of Vermilion Park and at the off-leash dog park. And these are done daily. And they're always done at 10:12 in the morning. So we try to rotate them as much as we can so that people can't tell what we're doing. And I'd like to tell everybody it's my vehicle. We're always in my vehicle, but I have a few other little people that wander around. So keep looking for my vehicle so you don't get caught. And I think that'll work out good for us. But we do take it very seriously. The leash law is now in effect. And you know what? Leash law for cats And there's people out there that complain about the cats, and I've got lots of people that have been 4 or 5 years now. Their cats go in the backyard on their leashes under the tree, and they have a temporary shelter for it from the sun. And cats, they take a bit to adjust because they're a cat. They can go everywhere. Dogs, they can only go as far as their legs will let them jump. So with the cats and the dogs, you know what? As long as you start into doing something like that, it's going to be a bit of a trial and tribulation at the beginning. But you know what? After a little while, it works itself out, and it feels really good for you to bond with your pet like that. And Councillor Bellemare, you were a little late getting here. Did you have any questions or anything you'd needed to know?
I had Wi-Fi issues, so I started the meeting at home and ended up driving here. I just wanted to say that I renewed my cat license today. She's 003, and because she was a licensed cat in the city, we got a phone call from you when that distemper had been found at one of the vets, and I really appreciated that. And here, so it's more than, I mean, you get service by having your pet license. So I just wanted to point that out and encourage people to make sure that they do have their pets licensed, because you're looking for people who are breaking bylaws, but you're also helping animals when they need to be helped by that phone call.
That's absolutely right. And it was just by chance you had your cat on the bylaw, which was on the license. Now, I love Bill. Bill is a great guy, but I did find more than 3 cats. Unfortunately, they got mixed up in the dog and the cat list because of numbers. So we'll work through that. But geez, you know, there's over 20 or 25 cats, something like that. Because I did have a couple hours of good phoning to try to get a hold of the people. And you know, you don't realize it's much of a challenge. We had an issue in our database. The number was there, but when you printed it out, because you had 204, it left one of the numbers out at the end. So we went back and the numbers were there, but it was just those challenges. So now we'll tweak that, and it'll be a little faster next time. But I do look forward to next year. We've removed a lot of the cats from the city this year, like multiple digits of cats from the city. Some for good reasons, some for bad reasons. We've removed a bunch of dogs from the city this year that just weren't acceptable for the way we want animals to act. And really tried to educate as much as we could dog owners. And I think that's where, and cat owners, pardon me. I'm not picking on the dog owners, but the dog and the cat owners, I think that really helped because it was education-wise, and it wasn't, you have to do this. It was a meet and greet, which I always give everybody when I first find out they have a pet. We go, we have a little talk, they get some restrictions imposed on them. And then when they phone back and need help, we try to help them through the licensing process and try to do as much as we can to try to help them and make it feel that it's important. All right.
Are you done with
Anyone else
your-
have any more questions? Councillor Juba or Charla or
Yes,
Mayor
Mr.
Dillian?
Charla, I do have one comment to make, actually.
Okay.
The current fees for pet licenses are for a sterile animal or a fixed animal is $20, and for a non-fixed animal is $30. Starting in 2021, those fees will be increasing. So for a fixed animal will be $30, and a non-fixed is $45.
Well, thank you very much, Charla. I wasn't aware of that, so that's good. I get smarter tonight. That's fantastic.
Okay.
And did you find the German Shepherd that I called you about?
No, he is a bit of a Houdini. I've had other reports. By the time I get there, he's gone. I've had people that are standing there and they've called me and turned around, he's gone. So it's he hasn't shown any aggression to anybody. He's, like you said, he's sort of a deer in the headlights. He's just sort of shocked. He doesn't know what he is. I think he's one of those dogs that we have a couple in town that are super good Houdinis, and then they put the nose down, and when they lift the nose up, they look around and go, oh, geez, I don't know what this street is. Where am I? So what I did last time is I never got a response from the person that owns the German Shepherd, but I went on the radio and asked the person that may be missing a German Shepherd to come down and help us. Now, there was a couple German Shepherds that came in from out of town. It's not those dogs. I checked on those dogs. So it's just a matter of trying, just keeping due diligence, and we're going to see if we can find out who it is. Oh, you're welcome. Is
Are
there
there
any?
any other questions of the animal control officer?
I just want to ask one more quick question.
Go ahead.
updating of the bylaw then, in your opinion, has made your job easier and it's more positive?
I think it's easy to say after the fact, and hindsight's 2020, but it's been a challenge for years because the bylaw was sort of, you do something, we're gonna do something back to you. Now it's putting way more responsibility on the pet owners where it should be. Like, and I'm sorry, Councillor Bellemare, but your cat shouldn't be penalized by something I do when I don't license my cat, let my cat outside every night. So we want to protect the good pet owners and bad pet owners. There's only two kinds of people. There's good and bad. There's no color, race, creed, religion. There's nothing gets involved. You either look after your pet or you don't look after your pet. And the new bylaws helped us catch those people that just throw their pet outside or are not worried about their pet or don't look after their pet, don't give it shelter, don't get it out of the sun, don't give it the proper water. So I'd say the new bylaw that's been created for us, there is a few points that we've had to add. We've noticed so far that there's a couple things we will add next time whenever we do change it, but it's really, really good. Renee, God bless you, Renee, did the research on it and proposed it up. You guys passed an awesome piece of documentation. It does exactly what we need. It gives us enforcement and it gives us power, but it relays to the people that own the pets, and it helps us extremely helpful with dangerous animals. So if your animal becomes a dangerous animal, there's not a lot of ways to make it be a good animal again. So the whole point of the bylaw is to make sure your animal doesn't become a dangerous animal with bad behavior. And unfortunately, I know we all have it, but you have to throw a little common sense in there. And if it's a dog or a cat, it's probably got some luck with it too.
Okay,
I just wanted to make a comment. I'll have to say that
Councillor
our
Arliss.
deputy mayor, Carrie Real, had a lot to do with that bylaw.
Oh, no, for sure. Yes. Yeah.
And there was a lot that went behind the scenes of real serious incidences that happen in our city.
Yes.
And there was a stand taken because it's unfair to all our good pet owners that we
Oh, yeah,
have
for
in
sure.
our
It's-
community.
It always seems like we're making the rule for the 5%. And the 95% of the good ones have to put up the rules that the 5% make. So you are absolutely right. And yeah, no, the council passed an excellent document. It was definitely made up. I don't know, everybody's a support staff, right? Everybody's on the team, but you know, just a clear vision to get it passed and what we needed at the time. That's where we've come from.
okay, thank you. Any other questions of councilors? Okay, thank you, Todd, for your presentation, and keep up the good work. And thank you again for your Academy Award performance. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Worship. Have a nice night.
You too. Okay. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that items under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. And the first one is a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Be it resolved that council proclaims November 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And the proclamation reads, whereas domestic violence is prevalent across all ethnic, racial, age, social, and economic groups and occurs regardless of marital status or sexual orientation. And whereas the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter opened its doors in Dauphin on October 31st, 1992 to provide alternatives to violent living for women and their children fleeing domestic abuse and or family violence. And whereas through the provision of the emergency shelter, counseling, education, and advocacy, the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter strives to empower abuse survivors to make positive life changes. And whereas in 2019-2020, the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter provided safe emergency residential shelter services to approximately 1,500 women and their children and experiencing domestic or family violence, and received 1,300 crisis line calls. And whereas the City of Dauphin commends the Parkland Crisis Center and Women's Shelter and other public and private entities that strive to end the cycle of violence in homes and communities across the Parkland. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim November 2020 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's dated this day at the province of in Dauphin at the province of Manitoba, and it's signed by the mayor. Also, filing items from AMM, the RM of Reynolds support for resolutions, the news bulletin of October 26, November 6th, the news release on Bill 37, member advisories and resolution processes for convention, call for questions, ministerial forum, council members code of conduct, tools and resources. Reeve Camblight becomes the AMM president designated, and the slate of vice presidential candidates are finalized, of which all the best and support for Deputy Mayor Riel. Bill 37 template, additional COVID-19 links, the FCM Connect October 27th and November 3rd. Manitoba media releases call for Manitobans to support COVID-19 frontline, premier enforcement, increased enforcement of COVID-19 public health orders, premier enhanced access to COVID-19 testing, health, seniors, and active living virtual care options for patients, municipal relations. I think it's on further in the agenda. Bill 37, land use planning, justice, report on independent review of Police Act, economic development and training, credential recognition for internationally trained applicants in regulated professions, COVID-19 bulletins, municipal relations, COVID-19 municipal governments frequently asked questions, Treaty 2 territory update, November 1st, Community Futures Parkland newsletter, October 2020, Prairie Mountain Health Plus newsletter, November 2020, Recycle Everywhere newsletter, November 2020, Mountain View School Division News Digest, October 26, 2020, the 911 Services Agreement schedule for 2021, Brad Michaleski, MLA, Order of Manitoba nominations, Help International 2021 Spring Shelter Built announcement and application form as recommended by the mayor and city manager. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll move the report. Move by Councillor Laughlin and Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report of the city manager. Charla, what are you going to be speaking to it?
I think because of technology, I'll just ask if there's any questions.
Yeah. Any questions of the city manager? There's lots on COVID and enforcement of increasing of COVID public health orders, and that'll be in our 13 agenda coming up. Hearing none, no questions. I'll call the questions. Any all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Eilers and Juba. Be it resolved the report of this ICT manager. Justin, I see the EV charger, great progress in there, and we should have that being operated by, I think the target date is December 31st. Is that correct, Justin? I guess he's not there.
I can comment that yes, the final date for the charger is still on track to be done and operational December 31st, 2020. And a lot of the physical infrastructure is in right now, and the unit itself is on order.
Good. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rio. Finance account examined by council. Checks 26269 to 27359. 91 checks were $1,508,318.54. And there's electronic, there's no voided checks. Electronic payments of 6 or 252,127.13, and mainly payroll. Some of there's some real big checks. The pension and LTD clearing for October, 63,792.24. The OSS October recycling, 19,183.45. Receiver General, the source deductions for October, 32,726.29. The repointing of the tower at the Art Center, Styles Masonry, 35,471.10. Sterling for all their paving and work and laying of some sidewalks. 613,589.05, and some of that is gas tax money, etc. Sterling, Dauphin Rec Services, November of 141,124.05. The school Minister of Finance, the charges for the assessment, like they provide all the assessment services, but the municipalities get charged. And this rate has not increased. It's 97,928.05, 97,928. The Minister of Finance debenture principals 87,131, and Mountain View school special school levy of 185,166 and 77 cents. Any questions of the accounts?
Yes, I have one. Urban Systems, it's the third one from the bottom. We were paying 41, well, almost 4,200, and 2 weeks ago we paid almost 4,000. What's going to be the total cost of that?
Bill, do you have that number offhand?
No, I don't have it right in front of me, but it's the budgeted amount, whatever that would be.
We can
We'll
get
get that
you,
to you,
Councillor.
Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. I was just going to ask.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll ask the question. All in favor? Motion passed. Moved by Councillor Sticilo. Seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before FASB for the period ending September 30th, 2020, the general fund balance sheet and income statement, and general utility fund balance sheet and income statement. And the Director of Finance, well, it comes in this motion later, but he provided an excellent analysis of the variances. So, any questions of the statements? We're financially very strong right now, and will continue to be. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve report for September 2020, and we're in good part good standing in our reserves of $10,266,613.07. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that and seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for September 2020, as I alluded to you. It's the Director of Finance prepared an excellent analysis of both the general fund and of the utility fund. Any questions of the analysis? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the minutes and reports of the following committees: the Intermountain Watershed District Conservation Standing Committee of September 16th, Conservation Program Coordinators Report of September 2020, Dauphin Rec Services Regular Board Meeting of September 30th, the reports, activities reports for September, October 2020, and Statement of Revenue, Expenditures, and Recovery of September 30th, 2020. I'll have to comment on the rec services. Just doing an excellent job in these COVID times of maintaining programming and and operations during hockey and figure skating, etc. It's really challenging times, and they've established a lot of COVID protocols, which are working. And also the finances are in good shape because of the CERB recovery, and we should not have any financial difficulties with the Dauphin Rec Board this year. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, if I could make a comment as well, it's Councillor Stakila.
Sure, go ahead.
Just further, thank you. Just further to that, the Dauphin Rec, the rec group there. I concur with your statements in terms of their operations. They have been doing a phenomenal job at navigating the regulations that have been placed on them. And in addition to being on City Council, I am a member of the Minor Hockey Board, and I must say that they're very quick to get clarity on issues that come up, as well as are very accessible to teams and to the board for extra information. So I commend them as well on their expertise and their ability to get answers when pressed for those answers. So thank you for bringing that forward as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing how well everybody there is versed and working as an excellent team in providing recreational services to the City of Dauphin and the RM residents. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Council accepts this information correspondence dated November 4th, 2020 from Ben Henderson, Chair of the FCM Municipalities Green Fund, advising that the City of Dauphin was successful in its application for a GMF grant in the amount of $27,900 for the City of Dauphin Active Transportation Strategy and Action Plan. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Councillor Eilers?
Just give her a sec. She stepped out for a minute.
Okay. Is Councillor Eilers back?
Yes,
The amount of the contract for urban systems is $58,708. That was passed in our financial plan. So these are
Then
progress
the
payments.
FCM grant
towards
that we just talked about in item 7, that is to offset that expense there. So just about half of it is paid by FCM.
Okay. If I wander off, okay, so on unfinished business, we have moved by Councillor Lachlan and seconded by Councillor Deputy Mayor Riel. This is on Bill 37, the Land Planning Act. Whereas the regular council meeting of October 17th, 2020, council passed resolutions 2020-420 outlining some of the concerns Manitoba Municipal Relations putting in place of Bill 48 and involves amendment to the Planning Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter, specifically with respect to the province creating planning regions without municipal input into their participation and the planning region's operations being autonomous of or far removed from their member councils. And whereas the regular council meeting of October 26, 2020 passed resolution 2020-555 forwarding a letter of concern regarding this bill to MLA Michaleski. And whereas Bill 37, amendment of the Planning Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter amends Bill 48, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a news release dated November 2nd, 2020 from Manitoba Municipal Relations Minister Rochelle Squires regarding the introduction of Bill 37, amendment of the Planning Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter Act, indicating it is an amendment to Bill 48 with some changes as requested by municipalities through the AMM. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a member advisory from AMM dated November 4th, 2020 regarding Bill 37 and noting that the AMM remains concerned about the province's plan to continue streamlining planning and approval processes for further development in Manitoba and strongly encourages all AMM members to restate their municipal objections to this proposed new planning legislation, so writing a second letter to their respective MLA. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts the information and memorandum dated November 6, 2020 from the Director of Public Works and Operations, indicating that the province is proceeding with this new legislation with some changes, but is not meeting all the requirements in the AMM, and that Council writes a second letter to Dauphin MLA Brad Michaleski, restating our concerns. So there was a standard letter sent by AMM and outlining the concerns that AMM and most of the councils have about it, and we're recommending to send it to. Actually, I had a meeting with the MLA today, and I gave him a letter, the formatted letter, but it's not official, so I ask that we send them the official letter and also express our concerns. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Oh, so it's in the next motion, I'm sorry. Oh, man. By Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Further be it resolved that Council agrees with the recommendation from the Director of Public Works and Operations, and we will express their concerns regarding the proposed changes to the legislation through lobbying the MLA. So I was lobbying already, but now we'll formalize it. Any questions? All the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Sakala. I'm not putting your name on anything to do with planning and that. So
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to mention something at the beginning, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Whereas due notice was given with respect to zoning by application 1205-234-200/RZ2001/02, and whereas no objections to said application were received and no objections were presented at the public hearing on October 26, 2020. Be it resolved that rezoning application 1205-234-200/RZ-20-01/02 for owners and applicants John Uri and Tracy Uri for the rezoning of lots 11, 12, and 13, Block 10, Plan 420, DLTO 620, Buchanan West, from residential family to residential multifamily to allow for the construction of two 1,800 square foot threeplex dwellings on a single zoning site to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw, be approved with the following conditions. The applicant shall obtain a permit from Manitoba Infrastructure to legalize the existing access onto West Street. The applicant must obtain a major variance to permit a reduced interior side yard for a multi-family zone requiring from a required 3.5 meters to 2.4 meters to comply with the bulk requirements of the city zoning bylaw 04/2015. The applicant must obtain a major variance to permit a reduced corner side yard for a multiple family zone from a required minimum 4.5 meters to 2.4 meters to comply with the bulk requirements of the City of Zoning bylaw 04/2015. And the applicant must obtain a major variance to permit a reduced number of parking stalls for the multi-family zone from a required minimum of 10 stalls to 8 to comply with the bulk requirements of the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. This is a carryover from last meeting, and we discussed, Councillor, and we discussed this one. Just now we're formalizing it. Any questions? We'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved, the council accepts as information correspondence dated November 6, 2020 from the building inspector regarding a proposal to subdivide southeast quarter section 102519 west of the prime meridian. New address 315 First Avenue Southeast for owner CNR and applicant Balkan and Kutsiki, care of Greg Molnar, Community Planning Services, file number 4411-207598, application 20139. Further be it resolved, the council approves the subdivision application for the property as described above with the following condition. The owner must obtain a permit for Manitoba infrastructure for access onto the declared portion of PTH 20 First Avenue Northeast. And that's new business, or not an old business, but I think a good location for greenhouse sales and vegetable sales, and all the best to the Burses for investing a permanent structure in the city. Any questions? Call the question. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rio. Whereas Health Canada has requested the participation of the City of Dauphin in partnership with Urban System in the Incorporating Health into Transportation and Community Planning Research Project, a study on integrating public and community health into planning processes in Canada. And whereas this project will conduct an in-depth quantitative analysis of 5 jurisdictions, including Dauphin, that have been incorporated in public health goals, objectives, and policies into their various planning and transportation plans. And whereas the city's responsibility as a partner in this project will be to facilitate the transfer of payments from Health Canada to Urban System for the service of conducting local research and creating the guiding documents that will constitute Dauphin's contribution to this study. The cost of these deliverables do not exceed $98,000. And be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated November 6, 2020 from the Director of Public Works and Operations outlining the features of the Incorporating Health into Transportation and Community Planning Research Project, and noting that the city's participation in this study will showcase our progressive work in active transportation as a positive step in transformation of community planning. And further be it resolved that Council accepts as information the memorandum of agreement between Health Canada and the City of Dauphin, outlining the city's responsibilities in the Incorporating Health into Transportation and Community Planning research project and authorize the Director of Public Works and Operation to sign and seal the agreement on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Bill, do you have anything to add on to this?
No, not really. I think it's very positive for the community that we're being recognized for the work that we're doing in sustainability and planning active transportation and the like in our community. I think it's a feather in our cap.
That's good. Yeah, and that 98,000, there's no cost to the city. This is just flow through money, eh?
That is correct. Yes, the project is being funded entirely by Health Canada, but they needed a partner to flow the funding through to the consultant. So we're that partner.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions? I'll call the question. Is there a hand up? No. I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Stickhilo. Whereas a fire protection grant of a one-time $5 million fund to provide fire protection grants to support fire protection and emergency response across the province of Manitoba, be it resolved that Council accepts this information documentation from Fire Chief Cam Avery applying to the fire protection grant up to $90,000 to purchase equipment like a skid steer to use at the practical training site and other locations to assist with creating lifelike training situations and to train members of the Dauphin Fire Department and other departments in the Riding Mountain Mutual Aid District. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts this application and authorizes the City Manager to sign and seal the agreement on behalf of the City of Dauphin. And further, be it resolved that Council appreciates the initiative of the Dauphin Fire Department to create this valuable training opportunities for our local fire departments. And the cost to the City of Dauphin is zero. It's 100% funding by the provincial government. And it would be certainly aid in the training, that the excellent training that the Fire Chief Avery and his team at the Dauphin Fire Department provide. Any questions?
I have one. It's more of a comment. I just wanted to say that it was a well-written grant. A lot of time and effort was spent on this, so kudos to the fire department for doing this.
Very good. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Loughlin. Seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated November 2nd, 2020 from Randy Daly, Chair of the Crisis Prevention Task Force, requesting a letter of support for the grant application for COVID-19 response funding from the Brandon Neighborhood Renewal Corporation for the purchase and renovation of the property at 37 3rd Avenue Northwest in Dauphin, and further be it resolved that Council recognizes both the value of this purchases for the continuation of the Crisis Prevention Task Force work in providing services, food, and education resources for fellow community members in need and the benefits of consolidating these services under one roof. And further be it resolved, the Council supports the Crisis Prevention Task Force application for COVID-19 response funding from the Brandon Neighborhood Renewal Corporation to enable them to continue to address the critical need in our community. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor, get mixed up in my order here. Moved by Councillor Deputy Mayor Rio and Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 13/2020 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend zoning bylaw 04/2015 regulating the use and development of land to 610 Buchanan Avenue West from residential single family to the residential multifamily be now read a second time. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by same people. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 13/2020 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to amend the zoning bylaw 04/2015 regulating the use and development of land 610 Buchanan Avenue West from residential single family to residential multifamily be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. So any questions? I have to record the votes. All in favor? Everybody's in favor? Even the silent
Yes.
one? Okay. Okay. Everybody else? Everybody's okay with this? So unanimous. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the invitation and events listed below. The AMM RCMPD division meeting November 24th and 25th. City manager, can give us, we have to forward the requests or to meet with them?
If the council would like to meet, then yes, we would forward the request with topics. This is part of the same invitation that is extended to council every year during the AMM convention to meet with ministers and to meet with the RCMP.
The council will discuss this at our next PNP meeting. That's okay. Community
so
event.
I'm looking at the due date
Oh,
to let them know.
It's due November 13th.
It's actually, yes. We should probably discuss it just before everybody leaves today.
okay. Is there any councilors wish to discuss issues, specific issues with the RCMP at the AMM? If not, well, we'll just move on. Remembrance Day services on November 11th. Remember, there's just abbreviated service at the Cenotaph, and it'll be on Facebook, the Royal Dauphin Legion Facebook. There'll be a program there at 10:50 on November 11th to 11:05. So, and also it'll be broadcast on CKDM. Due to the COVID issues, that's I think it's being done throughout Manitoba in the same fashion. The Mountain View School Division Town Hall Zoom meeting on November 16th. Manitoba Sustainability Energy Association and Manitoba Environmental Industries Association Indigenous Clean Water webinar, November 18th, 2020. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Now we'll start with councillor privileges, and we'll start with Councillor Loughlin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. On October the 26th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. A couple days later, the Communities in Bloom planning meeting that was also here at City Hall with myself and Councillor Eilers. And then a few days after that, the active transportation meeting we had as a group here at City Hall as well. That pretty much does it for me. I do want to add something though. I've had a lot of people ask me over the last couple weeks, when's Dauphin Kings Tractor Lotto getting started? It's getting started right away. Just with all the changes this year with COVID-19, we won't be selling at the mall this year though. We'll be selling at the arena, over the phone, and online at tractorlotto.com. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to get this out. It's obviously Tractor Lotto is a huge fundraiser for the Dauphin Kings, raises about a 25% dent into the budget. So it's a pretty big year, and we thank the community for what we know will be great support again this year. And that does it for my report.
So members of council and people listening, buy early and buy lots. So, Councillor Sakilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, October 26th, I was in attendance for the regular council meeting. Due to some conflicting meetings for other things that I'm part of, I was unable to attend a couple of other meetings over the past couple of weeks here. But it has been a busy couple of weeks for myself. I just wanted to thank the citizens of Dauphin and the surrounding area for the respect for the rules and procedures set in place due to the COVID response. Day after day, we're seeing the numbers rising, yet in our community, it's virtually non-existent. This is due to the hard work by our community and the visitors to our community that helps to keep our community safe. And following on that theme, and I know I've talked about this in the past, but I just want to commend the resiliency of our business community during these times. And I want to commend the citizens of Dauphin for their continued support from these businesses, especially as the holiday season grows closer. And even with that, I'm seeing businesses in town continue to appear, new businesses, as well as existing businesses expanding their operations and expanding on what they offer our community. So I really want to commend that side of our community for their efforts and the good work that they're doing. So with that ends my report for this council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sakilo. Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. I attended on October 26th, the City Council meeting. On the 28th, the Winter Life meeting by virtual. And then later on, I had an Intermountain Watershed meeting. On October 29th, we had a Communities in Bloom planning meeting. And I thank all those who came. That was in person. And spend a lot of time on various topics. On November 2nd, I attended the active transport meeting. And again, I should mention that there should be more consideration for sidewalks and accessibility for all seniors, especially Whitmore and ACC. I think our focus seems to be on bike trails, but I really feel that we should look at safer routes planning, and consult with the public should be increased. And I'd like to thank the firefighters who did the 2020 COVID firefighters ball this past Saturday. Meals were delivered for people who participated, and also they used, you could buy extra to provide for other families in need. And so they raised funds for Under One Roof. That was a great initiative that they did. I also want to mention there's another initiative, and it's called the Twinkle Tour of Christmas Lights. And we would like people to register their names or nominate a neighbor. We're trying to do a Twinkle Tour program, and you can call 622-4189 and to be part of this Twinkle Tour. We've had a lot of citizens who were en masse who decorated for Halloween. It was much appreciated. And this is another thing that even COVID, that we could light up our city. And it says, let's light up Dauphin for everyone to enjoy for this holiday season. There's not going to be any prizes or no voting. It's just for our pure enjoyment of seeing our city lit up. And I want to please encourage people to take time to remember and reflect on the men and women who fought to preserve the freedoms that we enjoy today. On November 11th, as mentioned before, it'll be on Facebook, as well as we'll have it on CKDM. So please, please honor our veterans, and also who are still continuing to serve in the services.
Thank you, Councillor Eilers. Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My report is very short. October the 26th, I attended the regular City Council meeting at City Hall. I also attended the active transportation special meeting at City Council chambers on November the 2nd. None of my other committees have met lately. However, workplace safety and health, I have a few inspections to do prior to our next meeting. I'll have a report, and I'll also, there's an airport meeting coming up shortly. So back to some of the committee meetings shortly. For community events, not too much, just on October the 27th, I attended Speak Up Parkland Toastmasters. We're doing Toastmasters this year via Zoom, and it really is working out well. It's not as it's different than having a regular Toastmasters meeting, but the Toastmasters by Zoom meetings are a lot of fun, and we continue to keep our membership in that group. November the 7th, I did participate in the 2020 Firefighters Ball. This year, the firefighters was different and enjoyed the roast beef supper prepared by Irving's Catering Food Company. Thank you to the firefighters who delivered the food to our door. And it was the first time the fire department showed up in my street when there was actually no fire. So I want to thank the firefighters for coming and lighting up the neighborhood for a great cause. So, Mr. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. Further to our animal control officer's report, when he left the room, we could see what he had on the back of his shirt, and it said crow control. So in addition to cats and dogs, he is also the crow controller. So we were chuckling about that. I attended several meetings, a liaison meeting with the RM, the Watson Arts Council AGM, the Dauphin and District Foundation monthly meeting, and a workshop from Bright Sky Consulting on Indigenous issues. And in that workshop, our purpose was to develop a statement of reconciliation about holding meetings on Indigenous land. I want to thank presenter and company owner Wade Houle for the skillful, meaningful workshop that he presented to the board members of the Community Foundation. Upcoming on November 23rd is the convention of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, to which we belong, and it's virtual. So we vote on resolutions, and there's also an election. So Deputy Mayor Riel has let her name stand for one of the vice president positions. I want you to wish you all the best of luck in that election, Carrie. You would bring many skills to the position. This week is Giving Week in Dauphin. And what is Giving Week? It's your chance to make a donation to the Community Foundation and help us get up to $4,000 of free money. If we get enough money or enough donations, we get free matching dollars from the Winnipeg Foundation and the province of Manitoba. So your $5 can become $7. So that's a pretty good deal. You can drop off your money with Kit at City Hall, or you can go online with Endow Manitoba. And then, of course, our thermometer on the Love and Pearson building would go up even higher. And you get a tax receipt. All money stays local. And further on the Dauphin fire truck meal, I love getting my meal delivered by the firefighters. And not only were there lights flashing, but there was a siren going as well. So I even had a neighbor call about what was going on. So it's another great outside of the box idea to help us all survive COVID and to enable firefighters to fundraise for their causes. On Facebook, there's a page called Homemade Dauphin. And check that out if you're looking for work that local crafters do and are offering for sale, because craft sales are not happening right now. The WAC had to postpone theirs till December 5th, and we don't know if that date is firm yet. For people looking for cloth face masks, Homemade Dauphin has a person on there that is selling those. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Deputy Mayor Riel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, October 26th, I attended the regular meeting at City Hall. I just want to thank everyone for a very safe Halloween. I have to say that I had more kids than I did last year. That's what I get for decorating. But the trick-or-treaters were extremely polite. So many giggles with our pipe down to the candy to kids. It'll have to be a yearly event now. I just want to thank, I don't know, my son came home with so many large coffee crisps, Mayor Dohan, large coffee crisps, and a lot of candy, and people were, even got a $2 coin from the Mint. So everyone went above and beyond, and I want to thank the community for that. Also, I just want to thank the RCMP. Want to mention to the public that City Council did pass to have an additional RCMP officer designated towards the reduction of drugs in our community. That's the CREST team. And if you follow their page, they've done an excellent job in charging people in the last year with drug-related offenses and taking drugs off our streets. So large kudos and thank you to them for all the work that they do. Also, November 2nd, I attended the Zoom meeting on active transportation. I'll follow up with that at a later date and time. I also participated, donated meals to Under One Roof through the Dauphin Fire Department. If you follow their page, they are in need of personal hygiene related items. They give those out. So if you can spare some extra, please donate to them. Also very innovative ways, as Councillor Bellemare mentioned, the Watson Arts Centre went on their page. They're selling art, got a wonderful sunflower. You can click on different local artist pages and purchase some nice art for $75. So please support them if you can. People are finding very innovative ways to try and sell their wares, and it's amazing to see. So thank you to everyone for that. Also want to extend my thanks to those on council that have supported me through my AMM vice president nomination. A lot of been able to chat with a lot of council, and their support is very much appreciated. Also to Ember Kucher and Justin for, I've been in 2 or 3 times to make a video, and very professional, never complaining. They helped me, as well as to Lisa. And again, thank you to city staff for all of that. And there ends my report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Make sure, councillors, that you vote for Deputy Mayor Riel. We need some representation on that AMM board, and hopefully everything goes positive on that. I really think that we should have more representation from central Manitoba than all the South people get all the the vice presidencies and all that. So it's time to move and look after central Manitoba, and especially the Parkland. October 27th, attended the city RM liaison committee, and 28th, the rec board meeting, and I mentioned in the reports that the Dauphin Rec Services is in good financial position. I never used the pipe on October 31st. I placed bags of candy on the end of the deck, and I was quite amazed. Like, our numbers were really down, but the politeness of the young people that came, I concur with you, Deputy Mayor. Jeepers, the world is going to be in good hands. I'll put it that way. November 2nd, the active transportation council discussion, and we'll be looking at plans for 2021 for a wider distribution of our active transportation model. November 7th, the Fireman's Ball. It was quite as innovative by the firemen. They delivered the meals, and I bought 2, and also one for the under one roof. But they brought the ladder truck, and they backed in, and there's lights all over the place flashing, and neighbors were looking out what's going on, and 3 firefighters delivered the meals. I gave them all the leftover, not all, I couldn't fill their pockets, so all of them with the leftover Halloween treats, and just an excellent meal, and good thinking outside the box. I really thought a lot of good PR by the fire department, and great work. Today at the Rail Museum, Randall Townsend had some World War I memorabilia that is presented to the Rail Museum. And some of the battalions came through Dauphin here during World War I, which I wasn't aware of. So if you have time, really congratulate the work of the Rail Museum. It's really been a pleasure to go in there, and they have a lot of interesting displays. And thank you to Randall for donating the memorabilia, and from that he personally bought from somebody, and I can't remember the names, but it was an interesting display. And can't remember what's Mr. Gilmore's first name, the new president of the Rail Museum, reported that 50 poppies were, go ahead. 50 poppies were sent to the Niagara Museum. And these poppies, they haven't decorated their museum. And the only two provinces that weren't contributing were Manitoba and PEI. So Mr. Gill took it upon himself and asked the senior center to, they knitted or crocheted, whatever, the 50 poppies, and they were sent to the Niagara Museum, and hopefully we can do something more. Ask the seniors to maybe put a couple 50 or so for Dauphin's Museum. The Rail Museum has really exciting plans, and I really look forward to a real turnaround at the museum, and it's really exciting. Also, right after that, I met with the MLA, Brad Michaleski, on the strategic plan for safety in our community, and he's taken that letter to the minister. It was sent to the minister, so I asked him to go talk with him, and if he wanted any more details to contact. Talked about the rehabilitation center, the Bill 37, concerns that AMM have and City of Dauphin has, and the status of the South End service roads. Also, the status of the accommodation tax, and definitely reiterated the effects of centralization of government services to Winnipeg and the effect on rural communities. So, the message was delivered very strongly to the MLA. As mentioned, the Remembrance Day service, if you can't, please remember people that made the ultimate sacrifice to our country so that we have the freedoms of today. And I'd just like to acknowledge we have a veteran in Winnipegosis, Mr. Mike Kolachuk, and he'll be 101 later in November. So he's always, and he's still very, little less agile than before, but still talks about his various experiences. So this ends my report. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eiler, that this council meeting be recessed at 6:34.